Good morning, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this session so far. My name is Michael Karras, Head of Sales at AOT. I'm going to speak a little quickly, trying to get us back on track. We're a little bit behind our time, so I hope you can listen quickly as well. We're going to talk about the future of AI in low-code development. We're going to talk about a little bit of our vision for AI-driven low-code, some key trends shaping the future of AI in low-code. We're going to look at a sneak peek into our roadmap of Formsflow.ai, which covers integrating technologies like agentic AI and also some real-world applications for public sector efficiency. And we're also going to, at the end, do some AI agents in action. So we've got some agents that are going to, really for efficiencies, show you some opportunities that are just creative, that we've done some POCs for, and some practical use cases. So that's what we're going to cover today. For those of you that don't know, AOT Technologies has a platform called Formsflow.ai. And Formsflow is a form and workflow automation platform. It's an all-in-one platform. It's in use by the government of British Columbia in a number of ministries. And we want to say thank you. Why are we saying thank you? Because it was born with the BC government. And this platform has grown and emerged, and we're evolving it now. And it's really been a partnership of sorts between BC government ministries and our teams working and building this platform out. And it's been very validating as well. The markets have interestingly shifted. You may have seen a lot of interest now in the financial sectors at open source technologies now. It's changed. And that change is very, very good for us, and we're excited about that. So despite minimal investment, we have partners and governments throughout the world using this platform to help citizen engagement, to help forms and workflow and automation, and that's encouraging us to continue investing in the application platform. There's also some industry trends reinforcing this. In particular, I alluded to the fact that financial markets are now very interested in open source models. To quote Paul Vincent from Gartner, you can see there's an increased interest in products with open source and hybrid open source and commercial licensing models. Includes process and decision tools like Camunda and products like N8N, which is a workflow product. So we're in that space and we're seeing that kind of interest, and we have a commercial and an open source model available. And leading VCs like Sequoia are investing in this space, and that's highlighting the potential and what we're doing. So we're very excited that what was born here with BC government is actually something that is a sector that's getting attention and interest, and we're of course investing into that now, and we're going to show you some of that investment in a little bit. Something that I think you should all be aware of is that we are a Canadian company with the state of politics, geopolitics right now. That's important for us to highlight for you. And also that our leadership has made a commitment to the BC government that Formsflow, even the commercial version, is free, will be free, always free without tariffs. So you can always count on being able to use it inclusively. Okay, no surprises, no gotchas, free application. And that was just a give back from our founders and directors to ensure that we were sharing back what was given to us, which is your time and passion in building products. We've released version 7, it's now live. It was just released in February 2025. So I want to give a little bit of a catch up in terms of what the application features allow you to do. Some of you may be familiar with it in its legacy, and it's changing dramatically as a result of that. First of all, we did a UX refresh, and we also did a new user designer journey. So the designer journey is the person who's responsible for creating forms. You can see, for those who are familiar with the application, we went to a menu navigation change, and we, of course, changed dramatically the UI overall. It's a tremendously improved interface and a tremendously moving forward. So we're very excited about it, very simplified. We also brought in a no-code workflow builder, which allows business users to build workflow. The beauty of this no-code workflow builder is it's actually interactive or compatible with BPMN. And so you can build, a business user can build a workflow. That workflow can be converted into a BPMN to be extended by a technologist. So you get the best of both worlds. Your business user can bring in their knowledge and say, this is the basic workflow I need, but then you can pick it up and do the integrations on the back end and take up the complex parts. You can speak one language, work together collaboratively, and offset some of that responsibility from the technology user. We've also have a feature called form bundling. In the age of efficiency, and you're all feeling those pressures, if you have the need and demand to be able to have multiple forms to be presented to a user depending on conditions and logic that you define, you can set this up in the software, and that user can then submit approval form and a plumbing approval form and a building approval form all at the same time. And then they can follow their own life and have their own workflow. So again, getting into that, how do you do things more efficiently and more effectively? That's just a sample. I'm going to skip through it. Just a sample of a workflow with a bundle with multiple processes. We also integrated in a third-party platform. We white-labeled it, and so we have now 1,000 integrations available. Now, this is admittedly something that is, because it's third-party, there is cost, and it must be in our hosted environment to provide you with this. But I want to make you aware of it when you look at your tech stack and the kinds of products that you're using today. Out of the box, you can integrate to all of these in a low-code manner, and their integrations are pre-built and predefined, and you can create your own. So it's a very powerful platform, extending the capabilities of the Formsflow platform itself. And then lastly, we have what's called Flow.ai, which is the ability to use, we built an AI chatbot. This is fully in production, and this chatbot allows a user to create forms through chats. And no, they don't know. We're thinking of making it, it's obviously a no-code platform you can drag and drop, but now it's just a no-touch platform. You can just talk to it, And let's take a look at that next. I'm going to run the slide. I'm going to pause it a little bit as we go to speak to it. So here's the prompt. And so I just paused it there. What we're asking the system to do is build me a form that is used for tracking rentals, property rentals. And I was intelligent about the prompt to say, I also want you to handle multiple properties for one entity so they can have a data grid. You can see that kind of concept there. And let's just take a look at what it builds. Now, the first time here, it didn't do a very good job. So I said, regenerate. I didn't like what you did. That's AI, right? And now what do we get? We get a nice layout with some grid down below with multiple properties. And then can you group the data using panels? You guys are familiar with these types of concepts. So now I've got a panel grouping. And then, of course, sorry, my pausing isn't working. Can you add a section for license upload information? So I've asked for that. So now if there's a license in play, the operators, now that's been added to the form. And then can you put the license upload at the bottom of the business information instead? Put it at the bottom of the document, not a good place. Let's put it at the header above in the larger section. And you can see now if I scroll down that it's moved it into the into the bottom of the owner section and the properties down below. And it even took the liberty of putting property types in because it was AI and it just gave a little bit of thought for us. So that's a good example of what you're dealing with now in terms of simplifying the user experience. Now we've simplified the user experience from the business user in forms, and we've simplified the automation and the workflow experience with business users in that automation as well. Oops. All right. I'd like to introduce Sumesh Kuril.
Hello everyone, I'm Sumesh. I manage the engineering team at Formsflow.ai. So I'll be explaining what's going to happen to Formsflow.ai in the next 6 to 8 months' time. So as Michael said, we have released version 7.0. Primary target for that release was to make a designer journey better because if you don't know Formsflow, we have three main journeys. One is the designer journey, and one is the submitter journey, and another one is the reviewer journey. So first part is the designer journey because that's the first user comes into the platform, tries out. And for 7.0, there is a target. For 7.1, we are improving submitter and reviewer experience, which is intended to be released in May, like a couple of months. So when it comes to submitter journey, earlier we have like a submitter journey in version 6. In version 7.1, like we are making some improvements on how they see all the submissions together for the specific form and how they can continue with their laptops. Not a lot of improvement, but like this definitely groups things together for a better user experience for the submitter. And for the reviewer, we are going to add like a lot of flexibility in terms of what they want to see and how they want to see. Here, all these like columns, column width, the raw size, the raw height, and the columns what they are seeing, everything is like configurable. And we can see like we are introducing like two new like feature called attribute filters. Earlier we had only task filter, which is the first one, like this business column what you are seeing on the screenshot. And the attribute filter would give more flexibility in terms of like to filter, save the filter on the data what they are seeing. So here they can see that like they can drag and drop, so they can drag and rearrange the columns, and they can set the visibility of the columns. So this is where in the previous version the system was dictating that like certain fields has to be there so that like, staff can take some decisions. But in the newer version, everything is like flexible. System is not dictating anything. They can completely configure like whatever they want to see and how they want to see. And this is the rough roadmap. Like we released version 6 in fall 2024 and version 7 in February 2025, and 7.1 is coming in May, and version 8, that's where we plan to add like a lot more features to assist reviewers with some AI, like agentic and other features, which is ready to be coming in fall 2025. First one is AI agentic workflow. So as you know, like Formsflow has two parts, like one is form and workflow. Anything which is well defined and predefined, you can code that into the workflow. But like for anything which comes ad hoc or anything which is like very dynamic, how we envision it, like we are introducing AI agentic workflow so that the reviewer can kickstart an AI agentic workflow in between a process. So it would look something like this, where for example, like if the user, the staff user or the reviewer wants to get more like data from submitters, for example, and they will have an option to like use AI agents, and based on what administrator have configured, they can pick which agent they want to use. In this case, they have picked voice agent, and like they are like just adding some description, what is the ambiguity they are trying to resolve, and how this voice agent can help. And once they add this job to the, again, this is just a conceptual like mock-up. Once they add this job to the queue, the job will get picked up, and once that is done, there will be some indicators on the task that like this is done, and the form or submission will have those ambiguity resolved. Micro will be demoing some prototype which we have built based on voice agents. After this, again, that's not fully integrated to Formsflow yet. That will be integrated, get integrated in our folders. Another one is reviewer assist. So reviewer assist comes in two parts. One is RAG, where RAG kind of search. The idea here is like when a staff or reviewer is working on a submission or on a case, they may need to get some help in terms of policy, something like this. If they're working on a submission for a building permit, and they want to know like what are the zoning requirements for building a condominium in this jurisdiction. So this specific one will be context aware, like they since the system is the user staff is working on a specific submission, we can provide all the details for that specific submission and feed that as the context, so that they will get like more relevant information specific to that submission. It will not be generic for every submission, it will be like specific to that submission. That's the idea here, and like we'll be providing citation on like where they can go and see more details with links to the document. Again, this is a conceptual like mock-up. We have built a tool called GovQuery earlier to prove this concept, and we will be leveraging the knowledge from Sharavan's team and like Craig's team to be actually doing this. And another one is on the reviewer assist, something called AI helper. This is where we will be adding the concept of AI service task within the workflow, where like we will provide some out of the box like models for predictive analytics, so that the reviewer would know like what are the chances of rejection or what are the chances of like approval when they see a specific submission or when they work on a specific task. Again, the accuracy depends on quality and quantity of data, so we may need like a lot more submissions and a lot more results before we actually train the model. But like the base architecture to build all these components will be in place with like MLOps like pipelines and everything. Next one is Flowy enhancement. Like Michael demoed how Flowy can be used to create some forms using some prompt. And as part of fall version or version 8, we'll be supporting generating workflows using prompts, and we'll be supporting creating like forms from screenshots, mockups, or even from PDF documents. So we'll be using a multi-modal approach for that one. And whoever work with Formsflow know that like we use Camunda till now, and in version 8 we are planning to add an alternate workflow engine because Camunda, their open source vision has changed. So we are actually customizing a Python-based workflow engine to fit into Formsflow. So like again, like we'll not be removing the support of Camunda. Like both will work. Like starting version 8, there'll be like when they set up, they can decide which workflow to use. And another one is along with Camunda. Camunda is like one heavy computing resource, heavy computing like the component in our package. Once that is removed, or like once we provide Python-based workflow engine, it will become more lightweight. And also another component which is heavy is Kadash, which we use for analytics module. But what we found from our customers that like they wouldn't need a full-blown analytics engine specific to Formsflow. So we are trying to create a custom analytics module by ourselves, which will bring down our computing cost, and which will provide like more flexibility in terms of natural language query.
Awesome, thank you. I've got a few demos relative to what Sumesh has been sharing, and I'd just like to walk you through them. The first of those three, the first is one that we've modeled as a POC, and we just imagine things. So bear with that as our imagination went away with us. This first use case is for freedom of information. We have a scenario where a citizen has made a request, but it's unclear. And so the time consumed in trying to get to the citizen, get the information, it's that collaboration component that was talked about earlier by Chris. And so what the agent does, and this is a voice agent using telephony, the voice agent makes a call, speaks to the user, tells what the issues are, and this would have been initiated by a CSR or someone within the department to identify what the problem was and initiate an agent. So it's giving some basic information or some basic direction to AI, and then AI takes over from there. And so this first use case, I'll just begin to play it. Now I'm going to caution you, the audio will jump loudly. It picks up my voice as I did the recording, and it's going to be a little shocking, so I'm going to ask your forgiveness ahead of time.
Hello, this is the BC Government FOI Assistance Line. I'm calling regarding your recent Freedom of Information request related to gig worker regulations in British Columbia. Am I speaking with Robert Kaur?
Yes.
Thank you for taking my call. I'm assisting the FOI intake team in processing your request, and I'd like to confirm a few details to ensure we retrieve the most relevant records for you. Is now a good time to go over some clarifications?
Sure. And I'll just let you know as well that the text you're reading on the screen is only for your benefit. Okay, so this was handled for a phone call, but the text is just something we're creating and showing to you as to what's being dialogued, and it is a support. So don't think that's part of the use case.
I see that your request was submitted to the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. However, the records related to gig worker protections, including policies on minimum wage and workers' compensation, fall under the Ministry of Labor. Would you like us to proceed with the request under the Ministry of Labor?
Yes.
I will update the request accordingly. Your request currently asks for records from January 1, 2021 to June 12, 2024. However, based on our records database, the relevant documents on gig worker regulations became available starting June 6, 2023. Would you like us to adjust the date range to reflect this availability?
Yes, please.
Understood. I will modify the date range from June 6, 2023 to June 12, 2024 in your request. To summarize, your updated request will now be submitted to the Ministry of Labor with a date range of June 6, 2023 to June 12, 2024. Does that sound correct?
It does.
Great. I will update the request accordingly. You will receive a confirmation email with the updated details shortly. If you have any further modifications, you may contact the FOI office directly. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
Okay. The next one is ServiceBC appointment rescheduling POC. So if you think about the fact that you're working in a ServiceBC office, if you're working in a ServiceBC office and you have a situation that's crashing all of your appointments for the next day or for the next week, you can imagine how many phone calls you have to make or how many notices you have to give and trying to reschedule all of that. So what we put together here is a POC that attempts to take that responsibility and automate it.
Hello, is this John Smith?
Yes, it is.
Hi, John. I'm calling on behalf of the ServiceBC office in Salmon Arm. I'm reaching out regarding your upcoming ICBC appointment, which was scheduled for Monday, March 10. Due to an escalating wildfire situation, the ServiceBC office in Salmon Arm will be closed and your appointment will need to be rescheduled. I apologize for the inconvenience. We can offer you a new appointment time for your ICBC service. I have availability next week. Would you like to reschedule?
Yes, please.
Here are the available time slots. Friday, March 14 at 9 a.m., Monday, March 17 at 2 p.m., Tuesday, March 18 at 11:30 a.m. Do any of these times work for you?
Yes.
Great. Could you please let me know which of the available time slots works best for you?
Monday the 17th at 2.
Great. Your appointment has been successfully rescheduled for Monday, March 17 at 2 p.m. You will receive a confirmation shortly. If you need further assistance, feel free to call ServiceBC in Salmon Arm. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
So the third one we have for you today, another telephony example, is an inbound. So it's acting as an operator receiving a call. This is a use case that we modeled around Taft, and so for tobacco in particular, it's a person requesting an advanced purchase authorization of tobacco because there are quotas limited for that purpose. And so the operator is receiving a request, and this is integrated into Formsflow. So at the end of the video I'm going to show here, you're going to see the data being propagated inside of Formsflow automatically to create a task, which is going to then go to a reviewer and an approver, etc., through the life cycle.
Hello, this is the Ministry of Finance, Tobacco, and Fuel Tax Exemption Department. How may I assist you today?
I'd like to be able to buy my tobacco for my upcoming holiday.
I'd be happy to help you with your tobacco advance purchase. I'll need to collect some information. What is your full name?
Dave Anderson.
Thank you, Dave. What is your phone number?
250-763-2184.
Thank you for providing your phone number. What is your registration number?
636-215-842.
Thank you, Dave. Finally, what was the preferred location to purchase?
Burns Lake.
Let me confirm your information. Full name, Dave Anderson, phone number 250-763-2184, registration number 636-215-842, and preferred purchasing location, Burns Lake. Is all this information correct?
Yes.
Processing. Please wait. Your order has been confirmed. Your confirmation number is 177. Thank you for your time and have a great day. It was great.
And there's the task in Formsflow with the data gathered by the AI agent. Thank you. I think unless there's some really burning questions, I think for the sake of our timeline that we have today, I'd love if you would approach Sumesh or myself during the lunch break that we're going to have and ask any questions that you might have of us there, and we'll be happy to field them, but I just want to keep the things moving and get us back on schedule. Is that acceptable for everyone, I think? Yes? I think it's being received well. All right, thank you.
Good timing. Well done.